Warning: the following program may contain material not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The borders of space and time have opened once again. And transmitting from the mountains of West Virginia, it's time once again for Let's Find Out with Diego. The universe is waiting for you.
All systems go.
On this episode of Let's Find Out, for the past 4 years, our guest has been actively involved in paranormal investigations, exploring historical locations, reported hotspots, and everything in between. He's built a reputation for integrity, curiosity, and a deep respect for the mysteries he's encountered. He combines cutting-edge technology with intuitive insights to document what lies beyond our everyday perception. We're diving deep into the shadowy realms with a guest who's dedicated their life to understanding the unexplained. All this plus more. Please welcome our new friend and first-time guest, the founder of Afterlife Paranormal, Shawn. Shawn, my friend, welcome to Let's Find Out.
What's up? Thanks for having me.
Oh, of course, man. You know, and it's kind of funny. We're talking on the pre-interview right before we began. There's you and I. We've been running into each other for the last year and a half, but we've never sat down and had an actual conversation.
Nope. Every time we walk away, somebody's either at our table or we're just getting caught up talking to somebody else.
And that's a very true story. I'm like, man, I hope this guy doesn't think I'm being rude, but it's almost like when you're setting up, you're busy setting up the tables and the tents. Sometimes you're fighting the wind or you have other things to do. And by the time I do my rounds, I don't like bothering people because I know that people ask people questions. I don't like to, just butt into a conversation. And then when somebody wants to come see me at my table, every once in a while, I have a person come in and tell me stories about, if not paranormal, about cryptids or their experiences or how they listen to the show. And I'm sure you have the very same experience yourself these events. Normally at Snarly Yow events, that's where I think we met there, right?
Yeah, that's where we started meeting each other and running into each other a lot more.
Yeah, and they're great events. Anybody that's interested in the West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland area, he's getting ready for a whole bunch of new events in 2026. So we'll be on the lookout for that for sure. No, so let's start from the beginning, my friend. So you're kind of a one-man show, correct?
Yes, sir.
And with that, let's talk about the very beginning. How did your journey in life bring you to the paranormal? Was it something that you encountered, or is there a family history of paranormal?
So I grew up watching Ghost Hunters and all the cryptid shows when I was younger, and I was always interested in it. When I was younger, when we lived in a trailer park, I used to think I saw shadows when I was a kid, but it's just you think it's your kid imagination, which they said kids are more perspective to the paranormal than we are because they're more open-minded than adults are, because we kind of close that third eye out on us. But other than that, flash forward to, I think it was 2021, 2020, we moved up here, up to South Central, and we're 45 minutes from Gettysburg. My mom took me on a birthday trip to Gettysburg and booked us a private investigation. And then I always seen it. I've always wanted to try it. And then I just fell in love with it ever since. And then it just got me going and wanting to find more answers. And henceforth, the name Afterlife Paranormal, if you're okay with me delving into the name, I've always struggled with death, like just more or less processing it. And I just want people to be able to find comfort in it instead of fear. Because, a lot of people don't know where they're going to go or how they're going to end up in this. No matter your religion, there's always a heaven and hell. And I try pushing that. Like, I grew up Christian, so I try letting people know, I believe in heaven and hell, but whatever you believe in, I don't want you to think there's nothing. I want you to find something that you believe in or you've put faith towards, just to kind of push that fear out.
And that's very interesting you say that, because that's one of those things for me. I'm also Christian myself, more on the Protestant part of it. And just when I think I have things figured out, sometimes people change the questions or the answers change. And I'm still a little bit uncomfortable with the concept of death. I don't mind telling you, because I know for sure that in my mind, there's two sides. And I fear like, did I do good enough? Am I going to wind up on a winning team, or am I going to be in a whole lot of trouble? But I think as we get older, we start really contemplating these things. And So great gift, by the way, as far as a trip and booking an investigation or checking these places out.
Yeah, it was fun.
So as I mentioned earlier, you're a one man show. Is there a reason why you're doing this by yourself?
The truth is the headache. Because I don't go out a lot. I work full time at a job, which I get my days off, but I have to book around everything with work. So I try to do that, and also it's not a hassle because all the drama and stuff in the paranormal field. It's just too much to handle. I'm not even gonna lie about that. Um, but I do. My mom tags along since she started it. She tags along. She comes with me. She even helps me at my events, like the events that I go to and set up. Which you probably ran into her many times too, especially my dad and my family. They support me in all this. So I go with other teams though too. Like I just came back from, I think it was probably near the beginning on the 15th. I was at Bell Grove with Fredericksburg.
That's quite a distance, though, from your location.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I've been in Fredericksburg many times back in the old days. Not as busy as it is today, but we all know what happens down there. It's very active in with paranormal. Not Virginia. I mean, come on, man.
yeah.
But let's talk about your very first investigation, because I think it takes a certain level of bravery to do this on your own, not as a team. Although you're not the only person I know that likes doing this by themselves, like you said about talking about drama and what have you.
Yeah.
But what was your very first location?
It would have had to be the Gettysburg one because I after that I went to through the same people like over for a span of like a whole year to the point where they knew me by name. But it was it's called the Murder House or the Harmon House. It's in Gettysburg, right from the library. But the story is that a woman lost her life in there after more of a drunken, like the fiance was drunk and he went out. They had a fight. From what I understand, her and him were at a bar down the road, and she ended up getting hit on by guys or thought she was very charismatic. She was very nice. She was thought of people, and he didn't like the way the guys were talking to him. So they got in a fight in the parking lot. He pulled a knife out. He lost. And then apparently from what the story goes, he went back to the apartment to get the gun. And she was fighting him to keep him from going out there to do anything stupid. We'll come find out apparently there was still a bullet in the chamber. And he said his word is that when she pulled on it, the gun went off. And it shot her through the neck, through the spine. And Gettysburg's not like it was back in the day. Like this is I think it was late 80s when this happened. So Gettysburg didn't have the big hospital they do now. And then they had to drive her all the way to York. And she died on the way to York. So her ghost is supposedly there. And then next door is also an apartment where they've had entities and stuff there come over. But I just fell in love with that place, her story, and just thinking of who she was as a person. I enjoyed it. And I believe I think everybody there's contacted her at one point. Is she still there? Who knows? We don't really know the truth about it. So
It's a very sad story.
yeah.
It's not. I think that as I keep thinking about the story you just told me. So with her confronting the gentleman and the gun accidentally goes off, this is my opinion, but unless that finger's right in the trigger, it's not really going to go off. Or unless, what type of gun was it? Do we know?
It was a rifle. I think it was a bolt action. Apparently, there's more to it, but that was the short version. But apparently, to it, he went to the range the day before, and he forgot to take one out of the chamber. Apparently, and it just went off. If he did it, who knows? It's well, they like to say is dead man tell no tales. Everybody knows that saying. If no one's there to defend her case, and she can't prove it, she's sadly not with us no more. But I've gotten good activity out there. I've seen one shadow figure, and I've even had her say my name over. It was Ovilus or Spirit Box. I can't quite remember, but that was like my favorite thing to have happen because I go there all the time. They ask me where I want to go, and I pick there usually.
Now, do you videotape or record these sessions where you go there?
Usually I don't, especially if it's a public group. If it's just me, I do. But like with a public group, I feel like it's nice and more personal, especially if you get a good group that stick together. That high energy really brings up the activity. And like I've learned that recently, especially at Bell Grove, helping them with their public event, their paranormal lockdown. It like just high energy brings a lot of activity. And it was amazing to see the stuff there too. But just I love those little small groups where everybody sticks together. Everybody's after like more or less the same thing, but everybody's joking around, having fun. It's high energy, and the spirits like want to interact. They want to have fun too.
And you mentioned that they called you by name, so it seems like they kind of like you.
I haven't been there in a while, so they probably mad at me now.
That's probably right, but I'm sure you're due for a
Yeah.
visit. And so, but you investigate what mostly in Pennsylvania, or do you go to the others like West Virginia or Maryland?
I haven't done West Virginia or Maryland, but I have been up to the Hinsdale House. I've been to Madison Seminary. And then, like I said recently, I've been to Bell Grove, and I've done location called Nanny. It's in Nanny Globe, but it's called the Haunted Liberty Theater up in Nanny Globe, right outside Johnstown. And I've done actually nearby town here, Chambersburg, Old Franklin County Jail.
Well, let's talk about that. What's going on in the jail?
So the jail was, if I remember, it's been there for years. It was there when Chambersburg got burned down during the Civil War. But it's been there. It didn't close down till I think it's been there for a while. So I don't think it got closed down till like the early 1940s. But it has a dungeon downstairs. There was reports of free slaves escaping there to hide out. You got modern and new jail cells attached to it. It's just a big open thing of different layers of different history.
Do you also do residentials?
I have not yet, but I would love to. I'm open to it to help people out if they need help. I've been asked if I'm willing to, but normally they just kind of like, I don't want to know, never mind, which is okay, which I totally respect, because if they don't want to know, they don't have to know. It's up to them.
Right, absolutely true. Now, seeing that you do this by yourself, and you said sometimes you go out with other groups as
Yeah.
well, do they contact you for the extra help for your specialty, or because they've known you for so long, they don't want you to hang out with them?
It's more or less they know me for so long. Like the first one was Phantom Visions. They're up in New York. I met the founder, Craig, at down South Carolina. Went down for one of my best friend's wedding. Was where I'm originally from, is down South Carolina. So growing up, since I loved it, there is a couple places there. But I met him through another team. I went to go watch him speak at a library, and then me and him were talking. And then I found out he was from New York, and then he found out I was not far in Pennsylvania. He's like, "How far are you?" I'm like, 4 hours from Hinsdale. And he takes me one random day. He's like, "Hey, do you want to go to Hinsdale with us?" I said, "Hell yeah, let's go." So he messaged me back. We went one night, and then this past June, we went up there for 2 nights.
What went on during that trip?
The first one was more, I don't like the woods there. That place it's in the middle of nowhere. When you think of it's by itself, it's by itself. Granted, it does have a neighbor behind it that doesn't like all the noise usually that people create in the woods, which is fine. But it's just there. It's nothing around it. You probably have to drive 5-10 minutes down the road just to get to a gas station or something. But the woods is rumored the area's old native grounds, which is New York. It's right outside Slamica. I don't remember how to say it, but native land. It's just that whole area and up like more near the bottom of New York. But we went out. There was one instance. The first time I went out there with them, we went out to the woods. 4 of us had an IR camera with me. We had flashlights, and one of them had a recorder. And we were out there just asking questions, but you just feel like you're getting watched. Just watch the whole time. And they have an offering tree, so you offer to the Indians and stuff like that, the natives in the land. And but you just feel like you're being watched the whole time, even during the day. He took me up there, let me look at the offering tree and just check out the area, and it just feels like you're being watched. like just eyes on you 24/7. And we were sitting there, we got quiet. We heard rustling, and then you hear something that sounds like something shot at us, like an arrow. You just hear something whiz by or something hit a tree. You just hear a thud in the ground. And then we turn around, we just see a branch going up and down fast as it could. And we just kind of like, okay, well, we just kind of walked away after that. But he ended up getting the thud on audio with his recorder. So that was pretty nice.
That's freaking amazing. Now, because you're going into the woods, so you're not only perhaps you might encounter something paranormal, but we're talking also cryptids. Have you thought about that?
I haven't looked much into not in that area. Cryptids are a little far from my touch because I don't understand how to, more or less, other than, watching mountain monsters and stuff like that or finding Bigfoot. My dad's more the cryptid guy. But I love the history and the stories that cryptid brings and urban legends. That area I'm not too much familiar with. I think they said there's Puckwudgies out there, if anything. If I'm not mistaken, is one of the cryptids out there.
That's possible. There's so many of them, and I'm not so great with locations. I forget a lot of things, but I know about the cryptids. And the reason I mentioned that when you were out in the woods, because there are certain cryptids, or we're talking about Bigfoot, where there's been reports where they throw rocks at people. There's throw something. If you see the branches, going up and down, I'm thinking might have been something similar. If you're thinking you're walking there, you feel like you're being watched. Perhaps it could have been a cryptid of sorts. I'm not necessarily saying it was Bigfoot, but possibility.
Oh, that's a good idea. I never thought about that because even when I look back on the camera, like I rewatched the recording and got to that point, you don't hear the thud, and you don't really see the branch moving no more because it stopped after a while. So that kind of sucks. But just the thought I was there for that was pretty cool. But I can't. That is a good thought. I never really put much into the cryptid aspect of it because we were there just investigating the history of the land, what spirits should be there, who knows. But other than that was the only big thing I think happened for us that night was that because we were kind of, other than little taps here and there on the window and a couple shadow figures, there was really nothing more, pushy into it than that.
Right. But it wasn't windy. So, if the tree branches, so it wasn't the wind.
No.
And if a squirrel goes up and down a tree, they're not that big. They're not going to, or a chipmunk or a bird, they're not going to move a branch like that.
No, the second night or the second time we went there, the 2-night one was pretty cool. There was a couple of things, like a couple odd things. One of them ended up reading a book that was like written by the mom of the house. She's still alive and stuff, but she wrote a book talking about the stuff that's happened there. And one of them was that a mother, like they talk about mother and daughter pairs, her and her daughter being like connected or something, like stuff like that. And like 1 o'clock in the morning. I understand you're looking for a dog, but like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning in like dirt road, dead in the woods. We saw the signs when we came in. They looked like, I think it was there for a minute, but like it was like 1 o'clock. They started driving down. They saw our lights and started driving down why you see lights, you turn down a random dirt road, a random road down to the one of the most haunted locations in your area. Why would you drive down there? But she was asking about dog, and it was a mother and daughter. Well, flash forward to the next day, we're cooking lunch because we decided to cook out there while we were there the second day, and we were out there, and then me and the other guy went back in the house to ask questions, investigate a little bit, and then a police officer and her daughter, while she was still in the cruiser, showed up, asking if we got anything. It was just a little weird, like that was something that tied into that, just part of the stories of that place. But I never heard anybody having random people pull up in the middle of the night. We thought about just next time we'll just drag the cones from the regular driveway all the way to the other end just so people know not to drive down that way. But we just thought it was weird because I think the first time that's ever happened where like a car just like actually drove down the road instead of turning around.
There's got to be something afoot in that town. Something's not right there.
No, again, it's New York. It's native land. Who knows what kind of history they have in the rest of the area other than the Hinsdale house itself. But I don't know. It was pretty interesting. It was pretty cool to hear that. We didn't even think about it when she left. We are like, man, we should have like asked her if she like noticed anything. We thought it was weird, but somebody's like, oh, it could have been a wellness check. A wellness check on what?
Yeah.
We got the place for 2 nights. What did they think was going to happen to us? But it was pretty weird. It was pretty weird and like a weird like just circumstance. Just one at 1 o'clock in the morning, the other one afternoon time. Who knows what time it was? I don't remember what time it was. But that was just strange.
Yeah, and in all seriousness, it could have just been people saying, "What are these? They seem like out of towners. Let's see what's happening over here."
Yeah.
But and that's okay. I tell you what, though, I seen those headlights come towards me. I think I was gonna say something lewd, but I think I'd have been I want to say worried.
Yeah, I mean, our hearts I think some of our hearts kind of dropped because we thought it was weird. Me and the other guy just kind of went a little faster than the others. We're like, we're just going to keep going because I don't want to end up wherever they're going to go because I don't know if they're just going to take us. Who knows who they are? They could be like, because one of the other stories that place in the book, because we did an experiment like at like 1 o'clock in the morning the last night, and we hooked a voice recorder up to a speaker with 100-foot aux, and we sat outside and just listened. We heard a couple knocks, and then we said, "Why don't you go up and knock on the door?" Because and I didn't put 2 and 2 together. Well, one of the stories is that they were something called the visitor came by, somebody that knocked on the door and he went asking for help, like, "Hey, help!" Blah blah blah. And then me and the other guy were listening. We heard a couple knocks here and there, not his. You can hear his voice off in the distance, and the knocks from him. He wasn't knocking anymore. We could see him right there on the porch. So we heard a couple knocks in there. Other than that, it wasn't really. Other than I think it was last night. It was probably like after all that, I went try going to sleep, and I was in the first floor, and one of the other guys was on the other couch too, and we were sitting there, and I fell asleep, and we just heard a big bang upstairs, like something dropped. So I looked up, and I'm like, well, they're probably upstairs investigating because 2 of them were still awake when I like kind of knocked out. They said I just kind of drifted to sleep, was talking to them and just drifted, but it was just a loud bang, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I didn't have my glasses. I was like, that's probably just them. So I was looking for my glasses, and then I just kind of stopped, and I'm like, And then I tried going back to sleep. Then I woke up again, like something ain't right. It just felt off, that noise. So I was like, and then the guy, I didn't know he was across from me. It's pitch black. He's like, Shawn. He's like, was that you? I'm like, no, I thought it was you guys. I said, where's Craig? He's like, I don't know. So we kind of went up to the stairs and yeah, hey, Craig. Nothing. It was quiet. And then we hear the front door open, like the screen door. And we look, and it's like, did you like do a noise outside or something? He's like, no. Like, dude, like we just sort of banged upstairs while we were sitting here. Or, we were trying to sleep, but it was loud enough to wake me up. I'm a pretty heavy sleeper sometimes. So I thought that was pretty cool.
And can you describe the house? Is it a big house or?
It's a pretty small house, actually. It's hard to describe, but like as soon as you walk in through like the little mud room or little sun room that's up front, that front porch is covered. They redone some of it from what it originally looked like, moved some stuff around. But you walk in, you literally walk into the kitchen. To your right is Mike's room. I think is his name. Mike's room is one of the entities there. It has 2 beds in it. Then if you look to your left, there's stairs going up. There's a stair on the right side of the stairs. You go in a room. There's like a master bedroom, and then in the master bedroom, I think there's another room that is the one where they said they boarded up the door because there was always flies in there, no matter the time of the year. So flies were in there during winter. They're not supposed to be out and about during winter. But that was one of the stories for that room. And then to the left of the staircase is the living room, which also at part of it had another girl's room in there. They kind of tore that wall down and expanded the living room. But that was the area. And then in the bathroom, there's a door to the basement. So it's this tiny house, but there's a lot of little nooks and crannies you can get into in there. And then,
Did
of
you go?
course, you got outside the woods and stuff.
Yeah, already creepy enough with the woods. Did you go in the basement?
I went in the basement, but I didn't stay down long because it's hard for me to stand down there. It's not good for somebody 6 foot to be in the basement. I'm kind of like cranking my neck there. But I did sit down in there. We like the last day we sat down there with EVPs and we were trying to kind of push to get something. We didn't get anything. But other than that, they also have a pond outside. Apparently, there's like a little boy that hangs around the pond. But we didn't get. I didn't get nothing near there, but because it's all mucky and stuff. It just literally every time. I think all the times we went, it's like basically rained. So like it was kind of funny. It's just everything's all mucky when we go out that way.
You know, and that location seems like it hits all the notes. You have a ghost boy, you have flies, you have a basement, you have knocks, you have strange noises. There's got to be something to that place, and I think you guys experienced it. And are you going to go back?
I would like to go back. They invited me back, but sadly I can't. I'll be at vending an event on Halloween up in Johnstown, so I can't make it this time. I would love to go back. And I love all the stuff I learned from other teams and things like that, and watching different ways to interact with spirits. I would love to try new different experiments. Stuff like that I would love to push out there. But most definitely, I would like to go back and get more answers and see how it is. Because I like to say the paranormal is like fishing. You can go one night. It could be most active place you've ever been. Next night, nothing. Just dead quiet. Crickets all night. Nothing.
And what you say is true, because I've been on fishing trips in the past. Whole lot of nothing. And somebody else could be catching catfish, no problem. Me, like, I got nothing. Other trips, like, oh, I got a live one, and I got another one. So it's one of those things you got to be really committed to the art, because it's not like you see on television. Of course, they have to package it up and be entertaining, and always there's something's happening, or not always like that. I mean, you can do a whole 8 or 10 hours somewhere and get absolutely zippy.
Yeah, they and the funny thing is there's a lot, like especially a lot of the teams that were on TV to tell you they had a place for a week. And they only got enough for an hour-long episode, or sometimes not even that, maybe half an hour. Some of them don't do but half hours, but that's the longest videos they got. And they were there for a whole week, and that's as much as they get. Again, I feel like at the end of the day, it comes down to energy, how you push the question. Are you joking? Like, I feel like they were us at one point. Spirits were us at one point, like live human beings with emotions. Sometimes I wonder if people forget that, and they want circus tricks done. So I try treating them with as much respect as I can. Of course, I believe if you're an a-hole in life, you're an a-hole in death. Because I don't always think it's going to be something demonic. I think it's just a tailhole that's just, decided to stick around and keep doing what he used to. Like, he pinched people, or like he pushed people just for fun, or just picked on people, just messing with people in general. I feel like you would do that in an afterlife too, keep your things going. Because I've had actually one person up in Johnstown when I did an event at the with WPA, another one where I originally met Snarly at. A woman came up asking about if ashes could do something, and I said, "Well, what kind of ash? Are we talking animal ashes, or because like there's not a different?" But I was curious. She said, "Well, all her daughters have little ashes of their father. I think it was necklace, or just has his ashes somewhere with them." And she said that one of them heard a whistle or something that he used to do just to pick on them, or like kind of get them going and kind of annoy them. And I said, did he like to pick on them a lot when he was alive? And she's like, yes. I said, that's probably him just picking on them every now and then, because just he missed, they probably miss us just as much as we miss them, and they're just letting us know, hey, I'm still here. I'm watching over you. Don't worry about anything. Which I thought that was pretty cool. That was a very good conversation I had with somebody, and that was probably a couple years ago.
Yeah, I mean, and sometimes it's kind of like that because it's not always going to be negative. There's some
Yep.
positive to this. I think there is a stereotype when it comes to anything paranormal, either demonic or evil spirits, or everything's not positive, but there is a lot of positive to it.
Yeah. Do I believe in stuff like that? Yeah, I believe in stuff like that. But am I going to always assume? No, I'm not going to always assume. I'm going to even if they start saying they are in the spirit box, I'm going to deny everything. I'm usually wearing my cross when I go, especially places I've never been, because you never know what's there. I usually tell them like, hey, I have fun, but you need to kind of stay here. I work. I need to sleep all day. I don't need stuff moving around. That's important to me. But I've had people ask me at work, it's like, what if something follows you? I'm like, well, I have a couple rules that they do end up doing. And I said, let me sleep. Don't move my keys, my phone, or my wallet. Just let me be able to go to work and let me sleep. That's all I ask.
I mean, it's a simple ask, anything
Yep.
after that, that's up to them. But so now that was a little while ago, these investigations. What's the latest one you've done?
Belgrove Plantation with Fredericksburg Research Paranormal Investigations. I think I said it right. Their name's long with the Fredericksburg in there. But I met the founder John at an event last year at Naniglow at the Haunted Liberty Theater. They done 2 like Para United events to bring in teams and hang out, and they let us investigate afterwards. But I met him through that, and I'm seeing him out and about. Like we never really having the full conversation yet, but like he messaged me one day, same thing, just out of the blue. He's like, hey man, would you like to, help out and being more or less like a little guest, kind of help out with the event? I'm like, sure, yeah, I'll do it. And then that was the 15th of this month. That was really fun. We got me and a little small group, with our group, we decided to divide. I went upstairs was one, him and somebody else stayed downstairs with the other. And we did separate EVP sessions with the same question. But neither one of us got anything. Then upstairs, we decided just to start asking random questions, not just pertain to the same ones they were asking downstairs. So after our first one, we went back. And then we got a really cool EVP in response to what I said. I asked, do you want us to go back downstairs? Because apparently upstairs is like, they kept asking this one kid's name. I can't remember his name, but they kept asking him to go back upstairs. So I went up there with him the first time. Nothing. It was quiet. It kept asking him stuff like that. But we went up there and he went up there with us. But I asked, do you want us to go back downstairs halfway through that last EVP session? And then one of the people in the group, he made his own EVP recorder app. So it hooks up to an actual live microphone or a little live mic. And it does more like live listening, and it can record and even transcript what it heard. So it can hear our questions and maybe a response if it's clear enough. He said, didn't y'all say nope anytime in there? Because, EVP, you're quiet for 10, 15 seconds. Then the next person moved on. And then we were listening, and then it came into my question, and it said, do you want us to go back downstairs? And it's just probably like 5 seconds later here, nope. And that was it, and nothing else. It didn't answer the kid. It wanted so bad to go up there, nothing. It just was quiet. And then after that, it was really not much after that. But it was really good, like, investigation. Like, they have, like, a little basement area. That was really good. There was I can't remember what. We named him Bob. He didn't give us his name. We decided we dedicated his name to Bob. But Bob didn't like his name. But I did ask, do you like me over John? And he had the DR60 is what they used, which was really cool. I never got to see that in real life. Those was like one of the most sought after pieces of equipment, EVP wise. But he recorded, and then we listened back, and we got to that question, and you hear F him, yeah. It wasn't too happy with him. But it was pretty cool. I think that was the last bit of the night. That was like up till 5 o'clock in the morning. It was, we saw shadow play in there. We heard, me and one person in the group heard like a hello or a man's voice. And there's this little room in where we were at where they cleaned out. They had tables and chairs in there, but they cleaned it out. And we went in there. It's like a little laundry looking room. And they said that's where they probably had firewood and stuff at one point, kind of stored it there. and there's like a room that goes, a little nook there, and it's a door that goes straight outside. Nothing else. It's just a little block room, little pathway, and it just goes straight outside. Like there's a door there, and we looked at, like, I heard something, so I kind of looked around, kind of scanned the little room. There was like 6 of us. I'm like, and me and one of the people made eye contact. We're like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one that heard it. I didn't want to say I heard anything, and people start saying they, heard the same thing, and we're like, did you hear that? He's like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I was like, did anybody else hear what we heard? And then it just sounded like a hello or something. Just, you heard a man's voice say something, and then he was texting his group if anybody was outside near that side, and no one was outside. They were all in the same spot. They were upstairs, I think, on the other side. They were just sitting somewhere just out of the way. But it was pretty cool. I enjoyed it. I would love to go back out there again by any chance, even if it's just, there's also a bed and breakfast. They have a bunch of rooms in there. It's a beautiful place in general.
And talking about you going to these locations and performing these investigations, what do you go with? Because sometimes we talk about intuition, but then also we're talking about having equipment. What is your go-to equipment? What do you bring with you?
I bring a lot of it. I bring the REM pods. I bring a lot of the motion stuff. I think the motion ones are the best, especially the cat balls, which I have like right here. It just lights up and stuff, but it's just more or less, it stays still, the lights turn off, and you can ask in response whether yes or no, or you can use that to let us know you're here if you can't talk through the devices. But the motion ones I really like, because then I know, oh, there's no one down there. Something set that off. Let's go figure it out. And then we'll go down there. And then I've had it where, one location that I got good motion stuff on was Madison Seminary. There's an area called Sarah's room. They don't know who Sarah is. They don't know whether Sarah's actually was part of the nurse. It was a nursery. It was a Civil War building on one side for widows of the Civil War, a bunch of stuff. And me and my mom were investigating there that night by ourselves, and I put a REM pod in the room across this hall, just to test a theory out that we just kind of threw to the guy that was giving us a tour, and he's like, that's a good idea, because my mom mentioned, it's like, well, what if it's like a lady that passed there, because it was a nursing home for a little bit too. It's like, what if it was a woman that passed there and she was born here, and this is just, her favorite place. This is where she grew up, or this is where she had the best memories at. And we were like, oh, that's cool. Like we thought that over, and I kind of played with the idea, but also played with the idea of somebody being. He also mentioned it could be somebody across the hall. That doesn't get us saying there's Sarah. That just doesn't get much attention, because across the hall it's just a bed, like a bed or two. There's nothing there. And Sarah's room's got all these dolls, all these toys. People bring her money, like just little offering things for her to interact. And it's like, well, what if that's true? And then I put the REM pod on the bed across the hall, and then I was asking, are you Sarah, or are you the one across the hall? Are you possibly somebody across the hall that just wants to have someone to talk to? Real quick, you heard a beat from the REM pod, and we went in there, and then it was quiet. Nothing after that. Almost like a little confirmation type thing, but nothing concrete where it's like, oh yeah, this isn't really Sarah, or nothing on any audio devices. Couldn't get anything. It was, other than a few things like that, it was quiet. Mostly motion activated stuff. Like we had it's called the Flux. This little triangle, black and red. It's got red and green on each side, yes and no. But I use it for motion. I don't normally use it to be like, hey, yes side for no, green. I don't do the questions with it. I normally just leave it between two doorways, and whichever side it goes on, I kind of go from there. And I kind of push like, oh, are you in this room, or are you in that room? I've had it where in that one, in the Civil War building, 2 rooms across this hall from each other, the green side went off. I started walking towards it. Then the red side went off, like kind of scooted over to kind of not, make sure I'm not knowing what room they're in, type of situation.
Wow, man, you've seen a lot of things out there, and it's amazing, really, what you've done in 4 years. Now, are there any locations that you've looking forward to exploring in the near future?
I really what was it? I do have a public event coming up that I'm hosting for my first public event, like Paranormal Lockdown, coming up next year, early February or late February. But that one is actually nearby me. I haven't been there yet, so it's going to be more of an interesting thing because I don't know what to get. I will be with them learning the history for the first time and stuff like that, which that's going to be really cool. I really would love to try getting out to old college on Hospital Hill down there in West Virginia, which I think is out more towards Point Pleasant, isn't it? Like Weston area, I'm pretty sure.
That's down there.
Yeah, I think it's like a 5-hour for me, or 4 to 5 hour for me. But that's one I would like to go to, and there's like a couple more. There's a whole list. I have so many. I didn't get to investigate. Like I got to actually like drive up and look at the Haunted Hill House. Like I didn't go in it, but I got to see it. And then just there's little things I want to do and try to accomplish for next year. It's one of them's having 2 public events for the first time next year. Just see how that goes. I haven't got the second one, but the first one is February 21st at Walnut Hill Manor in Waynesboro, which is it's going to be fun. I'm hoping to see how that one goes. I don't know what's out there. I think Snarly just went out there recently with somebody. Oh no, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
They go out on the 29th. But
he's always doing something. It's hard to keep up with him.
Yeah, it's hard to keep up with him. But I would love to go do more at it's called Blue Ball Inn. It's in I think Clearsbrook, Virginia. It's like an hour from here. It's not too far, but I think that's where it's at. But it was a pretty cool place. I went there with one of my mutual friends on TikTok. Her name's West Virginia Paranormal Girl. She was doing like they have like these hosted investigations out there, and she was one of the hosts for a weekend. So I saw her at Battlefield Bash in Gettysburg, talked to her for a bit, and then I told my mom like, hey, like, do you want to go investigate Blue Ball Inn? She's like, where's it at? I says like Clearsbrook, Virginia, or wherever the town is. And I said it's like an hour away. She's like, yeah. So we went out, supported her, and investigated, and it was really cool. I think we got a lot of SD stuff, a lot of audio stuff, more or less like actual like hearing I heard something dragging in the room behind me type of thing, and that was about it. But like other than that, it was a pretty active night. It was pretty fun. I enjoyed it. Yeah.
Now, for the listeners of Let's Find Out, our friends that want to get to know you better and Afterlife Paranormal and where you're going to be next, where's the best place for them to find out?
I have 3 things I use: Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. But my main ones are Instagram and TikTok. I use a lot more. I'm getting better with Facebook. I'm getting there. Trust me. I'm trying to get there. But those are the 2 best ones to get to me. Also, my email, which is attached to the link tree under each. Yeah, it should be under each one. The link tree is attached.
Awesome, man. We'll definitely put the links to your socials on the show description once the episode is released. Now, I got a little bit ahead of myself because I had one more question to ask you. Being that you go to a lot of these locations, and like I said, we talked about earlier, sometimes you get something, sometimes you don't. Yep. Do you prefer to know the history of a place before you go, or you just go in there not knowing anything about it? Which is better for you? Now,
it's kind of iffy because a lot of the places I've been to are really big names. You can't avoid them online. You can't avoid anything like Hinsdale House. You can't avoid. Like I knew about the native background. There was one I went to. It's called Wildwood Sanatorium, which is like literally 20 minutes to half an hour away from Hinsdale. Another wonderful location. The owners are really nice. They're awesome people. But I didn't really know much other than it being an old sanatorium. I didn't know what they done there, what kind of stuff they did. And they gave us a history tour, and they have a thing called doll room. I don't like dolls. I ain't gonna front you on that. I hate dolls. I think they all should burn. I don't know whoever made them. I don't think they should ever existed. especially the porcelain ones. The ones that are not supposed to move shouldn't move. That's just a fact. But I didn't know much more going to that, and then there was it's like I said, it's kind of iffy. I don't like knowing. I like kind of learning it there, if anything, and then backtracking deeper into it. Like, I still have a photo on my phone. It said the name of somebody, and then we found a paper in the room where the REM pod went off, where there was the name on a list of paper, and there's like former attendants or like people or superintendents or something of the place. But I try not to dig too much into it, because then your mind's trying to push that thought of, oh, it's this person, when it might not be. So I always try opening a room for anybody that's there, somebody that's has never been heard or stuff like that. I try pushing that as much as I can, because, you know, some places they get that activity on the one spirit and then they push that. Well, that might not be so-and-so, like we talked earlier with Sarah. Like, that cannot be so-and-so. Let's just kind of push other stuff. But other than that, that's about what I push, is half and half, more or less. Like, I won't know the history, but I also don't want to know what kind of accounts you have there. I want to see if I see it. And if you tell me they see apparition, don't tell me what it looks like. I want to, like, you could tell me it's a woman or a man. That's totally fine. Because if I saw a man or woman, they could be described completely different from what they saw. Like, and like Walnut Hill has that. They told me they're like, apparition of woman been seen 3 times, but they didn't tell me what she looked like. They just said it was a woman, which I loved when they did that. I thought that was pretty interesting. That I would love to kind of run into, or not. I'm not sure. I've only ever seen like shadows out the corner of my eyes, like had my heart drop a couple times, but not really anything that's like, oh, that's a person. Why is there a random person floating across the ground type situation? But we'll see.
And you never know. The longer you do this, the more and more you probably will see. And you have a really good strategy there, because you want to go in there with an open mind, kind of be partially a skeptic. That way you don't poison the well. You don't pollute your own, I'll say, train of thought. Because if somebody tells you what they saw in your mind, that's what you're thinking you're going to see. So you want a fresh perspective during your investigations.
Yeah, when I asked them if they could do the history tour for it, and they're like, do you want them to give account? I said, I want a mix. I want to, them be able to know where the hot spots are for them to go investigate after, like a free time or something halfway through the night. And then other than that, I'm like, I don't really want somebody to describe what it looks like or what they're hearing, what words they hear. I like to be surprised too. That's kind of how Belgrove was. Like, I didn't know nothing about the place. I just knew it was the old plantation. I didn't know what was there, what the place was like. They gave us their accounts of like, oh, we've had this happen, but that doesn't mean it's going to happen to you, or type thing. And then it was really fun. Like, just throwing that in of like mystery, and I think it's fun too.
Mysteries are fun, and sometimes you'll never solve them, but that's also part of the experience, my friend. Now, I know you you will have a whole lot of more investigations coming up in 2026 and beyond. I'd like to bring you back on this show and discuss what it is that you saw, where you went, and tell us a little bit more about these locations, and we'll get caught up.
Yeah, I am thinking of some things for next year. I do try going live on TikTok when I go to these locations, but you get so immersed in it, you kind of just throw recording and stuff out the window, and you just want to be there in the moment. So that's what happens a lot of me, because I have a lot of people, especially friends that also on TikTok. It's like, why don't you record stuff and post it? It's like, well, here's the thing. I get too immersed in it, and I get too interested in what I'm learning or what I'm hearing or what I'm getting into at that night. I just totally forget. Like, I don't know what it was. I just don't really do it. I don't know if it's people want to see it, and I know, but like, it's just, I got stuff from like 3 years ago still, but like, I don't have a lot of newer stuff because I just get too immersed in it now. I try not to use like a camera as much. I want to be personal with whatever's there.
I guess that's only the small drawback in doing this by yourself. You don't have somebody there to remind you, hey, hit record. But that's okay, man. I know that when you go out there and do these investigations, you're going to start hitting record more now. If not, I'm
Oh,
going to
yeah.
text you. I'm going to remind you and say, hey, man, hit record, brother. But hey, look, I appreciate you being on the show. And like I said, come back in 2026 and looking forward to hearing more of your accounts in these investigations.
All for sure. Thanks for having me.
Thank you, my friend.
Copyright Diego the Podcaster. All content for Let's Find Out is the property of Diego the Podcaster and is served directly from our servers with no modification, redirects, or rehosting. All celebrity impersonators are paid performers. The impersonated celebrities do not endorse or promote any views or opinions expressed by our guests, Diego the Podcaster, or Let's Find Out. The information shared on Let's Find Out with Diego is provided on an as-is basis, with no guarantees of completeness, accuracy, usefulness, or timeliness.